I would like to introduce on stage Vinu Sundar next. He's the enterprise cloud architect at Toyota Every. He's an experienced technocrat with specialization in innovation, strategy, vision, and provides consultation for enterprise customers in cloud and digital arena. He has got more than 19 years of software development experience, architectural and leadership experience. He has worked with many of the Fortune 100 companies and served in different geographies and work cultures. He's currently associated with Toyota Every and leading the cloud practice in Bangalore, responsible for leading exploration and innovation in digital technologies, especially on cloud platforms. His responsibilities include design and development of highly scalable enterprise applications and products, a key player in strategies around innovation, digital assets, IPRs, and partnerships. To deliver the next topic on Alexa in enterprise, with a loud round of applause, can we welcome on stage Vinu Sundar, please?
A lot of wonderful sessions in the morning and in the afternoon as well, and some of wonderful speakers we had. I guess you're all enjoying that, right? Thoroughly enjoying, like how I am enjoying. Let's get started. Most of you have seen sci-fi movies, right? In the past, for the earlier days itself, there are time machines in them, right? Have you observed what is the common factor in this time machine? How the hero interacts with this machine? Have you observed it? How they interact? All right, most of the time they speak to that, right? Speak to the machine. This from the earlier days itself, the time machine, heroes interact with the machine by speaking, the natural way of conversing, right? So, what is for software developers like you and me, it was always a fiction earlier days. How we will make the hero speak to the machine, right? But now, because of all these breakthrough interventions of the technology, we are able to create software which can interact with the machine. All right, let's get started. You have used many of these commerce applications, right? Mobile-based commerce applications for shopping. Just now we saw some of the WooCommerce he was talking about. So again, if you look into these commerce applications, what it gives, what is the common theme of these technology applications or the technologies? Can anyone talk about that? Can anyone guess what it instantly gives to you? That is the gratification, right? You don't have to wait for something. If you need to get some pleasure, right? By shopping gives you pleasure. Or if you have the basic needs of having food, you want to order food. So now and then you will get the instant gratification. So that is what technology brings to us. And we'll take a case of ordering food, right? Or not ordering food, we want to have some food. So what we'll do is, in the earlier days, we have two choices. One is either you can cook the food or go to a hotel and have it, right? For cooking food, what you have to do? You have to switch on the stove or the heater, boil the water, cut the vegetables, add the ingredients, boil, wait for half an hour, right? To get the food cooked there. Or we can go to a hotel. But in nowadays, what we can do? We have these apps like Zomato, Swiggy, Uber Eats and all. These applications help us to instantly order the food without much waiting. So what it is helping us is reducing the friction. The friction is nothing but the number of steps involved to get the task done. So these applications, these technologies help us to reduce the friction, and reducing the friction will increase the customer satisfaction, right? So when you start using these kind of technologies, what eventually happens is it will become the habit forming technology, right? Habit forming technology. One of the best examples, if you take, you use mobile devices, right? Mobile devices. So earlier days, what you used to do is if you get bored, you'll be doing something else. But nowadays, what you'll do? Quickly take your mobile and start Instagramming or Facebook or searching the web searching, all those things. So these are the habit forming technologies. And over the years, if you see, radio and TV had come and made some habit forming technologies. You know how people are addicted with the TVs or radios in the earlier days. And later comes the mobile, and now we are heading into the voice technology, right? If you look into the teenagers and the younger generation, the kids, what they do, they won't go and search in the mobile. They use OK Google or Siri or Hey Alexa and start talking and get the instant gratification done, right? All right. Let's see one use case. My topic here is Alexa on the enterprise, right? We'll look into a use case, a specific use case. In a modern way, the modern way of doing things, basically I want to look into my calendar, right? I want to see what is my first meeting in the office. I want to open the calendar and I will go to an app called Outlook, and then I have to find the location of the offices. I have multiple office locations, so I want to know current traffic, right? How much it will take, all those things. So I'll go to Google Maps, look for the current traffic, route, all those things. Then I'll use another app, Uber app, and what I'll do, I'll go and book the ticket, I'll go and make a reservation. So if you look into here, it takes 2 to 4 minutes of my time, and you have to go through multiple applications, right? I have to go through multiple applications. So in the smart way, what would be the smart way of doing this? If I have an assistant, right, that is the smartest way. I tell her or him saying that, please go ahead and book a ride to my office. So since he or she is my personal assistant, he or she knows, right, my favorite route or my favorite way of transportation, all those things, and she will, so it is not only completing the task, but she knows my preferences, and in the smartest way she will take care of the things. It is not interrupting my work and my coffee. I will be able to continue doing this. We will come back to this use case later. Now, if we look into the disruptions happened over the years, every 5 to 10 years or in few years, disruption happened in the technology. That happens in the user interface as well. How the humans interact with the machines or the computer, right? So every now and then it happens, and this is the time for voice. It is clearly evident by the use cases and the adaptance. It is very much clear that voice is the next big disruption. See, if you see, whenever the technology changes, if you take the case of mobile, right? When the mobile become prominent, what happened is there are a lot of business models changed, and it disrupted the way the business is being done, and also a lot of new companies or organizations emerged, leveraging that business model. Similarly, the voice is next big thing. You have already seen earlier presentations, W3, how they are bringing up a new business model and a new kind of business they are coming up. And similarly, we saw the WooCommerce. So there are so many companies emerging, leveraging this voice technology, and definitely this is the next big disruption. All right, little bit about myself and the company I represent. I am part of the digital innovation team where we work with niche technologies, and I am part of the cloud initiatives and the cognitive side. And I have a wonderful team working with me in the voice technology. Our team, one of the Alexa champion, one of the 2 champions in India, Alexa champion, Ilan. You may have seen him running around, Ilan Ganesh Murthy, we call him Ilan. He is the Alexa champion. And there are so many other folks. There are amazing guys who is working with the voice technologies. And about Tieto. Tieto Every is a 24,000 professionals globally having company, and it operates over 90 countries. And it is Tieto and Every are based upon the Nordics. Actually, this is a new entity come up, the Tieto Every. Earlier it was 2 entities. One is Tieto operating from Finland and Every from Norway, and they come together, and this is the new entity, Tieto Every. And there is a lot of opportunities on the little bit marketing. There are a lot of opportunities, and we are investing heavily, euro 100 million every year on the niche technology. And we have a developer center in Bangalore, Pune, as well as in Chandigarh. All right. Let's look at the human-computer interaction over the period. The first generation, where computers doesn't understand our language, we have to speak in the computer's language. There is where the first generation. We use the punch card, registries, all those things. And the second generation, the pointers and sliders come into picture. Mouse was invented, client servers come into picture. And if you look at the third generation, there is where the touch screen. Apple was the forerunner, but everybody catched up. We are very used to the touch and touch devices using typing, scrolling, all those things. And now it's the generation for the fourth generation, that is the conversational interface. And if you see through this, what is happening here is the human-computer interaction difficulty is coming down. Earlier it was very hard, now it is very easy to communicate with the machine. And mass adoption of computing, and there is a billion users getting ready to get into the Internet of World or this business model. And we need to bring this young generation to the Internet. Voice is the only way. And these are the conversational user interfaces, screen-based and screenless interface. The major difference here is when screen-based, the primary factor is screen, and voice is used to augment that, right? You will use your mobile to type or using the echo show and kind of devices to interact, and voice will be used to augment it, to communicate with that. But on the screenless devices, what happens is voice is the primary candidate, and you may use other screens or other devices to augment the vision. Some of the examples, I don't want to go through all those things. Let's look at the Alexa framework. I'm sure you have gone through, most of you are on the community and you all work with Alexa, most of them, and you have gone through different sessions also. But still I want to very quickly touch upon the Alexa framework itself. So the device, what you saw is a small piece, that is the Echo device, which is a dumb terminal, right? The real brain behind that is the Alexa, which resides in the Alexa cloud. And it uses technologies like ASR, automated speech recognition, and natural language understanding. And above and top of that, it is always learning. It is getting more and more intelligent day by day, right? And to develop your skills on the Alexa, like in the mobile we have the app. For interacting with these devices, we have to have the Alexa skills. For that, Alexa skill kit is there, where the developers used to build the app. And your fulfillment logic lies in the cloud as a third-party system, or wherever you can connect it through the APIs, right? Where the fulfillment logic means, for instance, I want to book a ride to Uber, and if you are asking Alexa, it has to call a corresponding skill, and the skill has to call a corresponding API. So the fulfillment is behind the scenes. And Amazon is very ambitious, and they want to get in everywhere in the user's life. So there is where they come up with the Alexa voice services. So Alexa voice services empowers almost all kind of devices you can think of. Morning Jeff was showing, right? The birds, the frames. There are so many devices where Alexa is powered with. That is from the Amazon itself. And apart from that, there are so many third-party devices, third-party vendors, hardware vendors getting the Alexa incorporated into that. And the functional view of the CAI, that is the conversational artificial intelligence, is you use the device and speak to that. The speech will be converted using automated speech recognition, convert to a text, and text will be understood by the natural language understanding, and finally the intent is produced. Intent is what actually you want. You can talk to a computer or a device in different ways, right? Same sense, but different people will be talking in different ways. So the intent will be identified. Once the intent is identified, the validation and business logic and the back-end fulfillment logic will be done. Once it is done, the response to the user back will be given in text, and text can be converted back to text-to-speech. This is what the functionality of Alexa framework. And there are a lot of skills. Day by day, it is increasing, 100,000 plus skills. And if you see more than 8 supported languages and so many products built in Alexa, and in India we have more than 30,000 skills, and this is changing day by day. Every day it is getting updated. So Alexa is definitely growing. Let's talk about the enterprise now. All these skills, whatever we are hearing in general, listening to the music or checking the weather or all these kinds, these are all for the consumer market, right? For the general consumer. All the fun is for the consumers. Where is the fun for the employees, like you and me? In the enterprises, people are working, right? We also can leverage the power of Alexa. Seeing that you all have an Alexa at office. You are given a digital assistant. How much powerful it will be, and how and all we can leverage that. Let's see. And Alexa is everywhere. We have seen, right? It is on the go. It's a Eco Auto is there, or BMW and many cars have implemented that. On the go is there, or in your mobile Alexa is there. The workplace it is there, home is there. So everywhere Alexa is there. Then why don't we leverage it? Let's look into some of the use cases a general employee's needs, right? Where and all we can leverage the Alexa, we'll see. See, generally he wants to search for meeting room. He wants to know how many meeting rooms are available, whether you have a meeting room or not. And there will be conflict resolution. Conflict resolution means already somebody had booked, but you want to resolve it them, either to move them or you need to request a change, or there is conflict between you got a request and there is a conflict between your time and whatever they have requested, or finding the conference numbers, or think about scenarios where you want to order from your favorite restaurant, or order a breakfast, or getting a travel booked, right? Air ticket booked. So here and all, there are two aspects to this. If you see, one is the task itself, right? The task itself, with the ease we want to do. The corner office always has an assistant, right? The boss has the assistant. You will just tell, they will take care. But you don't have. So think about a personal assistant given to you, and they will take care for you. So what is the difference for a personal assistant? It is not just carrying out the task for you. It is more than that. It is having a human touch. What is a human touch? It knows your preferences, right? What food? If it's the morning time, it knows from where to bring the coffee. Or if you are ordering for a flower, it knows which flower he likes or you likes, right? So that kind of preferences it can understand. And day by day it learns. If I make a change in the schedule or ask for a different thing, it will keep on learning and make the changes, right? So similarly, a digital assistant can help. So what we have done in our organization, we had gone ahead and built some products, and we are playing with a few of other things. So generally, I will showcase some of the use cases. I'll give you some thoughts so that you can develop further on the use cases. But generally, how you identify a use case? I am using here a customer journey map, and try to look into the employee's day in the life of an employee. So I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and it's a typical scenario where I want to know how my day looks like, right? So Alexa responds me back saying that what are the calendar appointments, and I ask for a ride. So Alexa books a ride to office based on first meeting and the time. And here, if you see, the context is waking up and drinking coffee. Probably I may order a coffee as well. And on the route, en route, I am driving around 8 a.m. and I may be checking the traffic, the weather, ask a quick bite. So it orders from the favorite breakfast, from the favorite restaurant, and I may ask for an ETA for the traffic, it responds back. So if you see the context, driving, traffic, weather, and calendar, reminder, all those comes into picture. And let's around 9 a.m. I reach the office location, meeting location, and I'm interested in a couple of things. One is booking a room based on the availability, and start a meeting, automatically dial in the conference room because it has access to my Outlook and it knows which numbers to dial and it will dial in, and set the temperature. So Alexa can interact with the system, right? It can set the temperature, it can interface with the other devices as well in the room. And see about around 12 p.m. I want to again buy a lunch and pay from my wallet. And again, here are all different things will come into picture. It is not just ordering from the restaurant. And for this type of restaurant or this kind of areas, which card or which payment system I use, it has to identify. So it involves a lot of intelligence behind the scenes. and create a service ticket. I'm in the room, I saw some issue and I want to raise a service ticket. So it has to automatically identify the location, the time, the what kind of request, where to log the request, all those information. And typically by 6 p.m., I'm asking a ride back or on the way I want to purchase something and get some reminders. So this is a typical day in the life of an employee. And this is, we are trying to do a customer journey map and identify the scenarios. So this slide I earlier played here. So what we done is to identify a similar situation, we had gone ahead and built a assistant called Jane. So we say, hey Alexa, ask Jane to book a ride to office for my first meeting, is the command I am giving. And voila, it is done. I don't have to worry about the 3 apps. I don't have to spend 3-4 minutes. All those things, it's all taken care. So I am not playing the video here, but in the booth the video is playing, and in the YouTube also it is available. You can search for Jane, every Jane, you'll find it. And let's quickly look into the architecture behind Jane, how it works. So we have this Alexa skill, right? Every Jane, and using the Lambda function it interacts, and we are interacting with the 3 third-party systems. That is the Office Calendar, and the Google Maps, and the Uber. We started developing this some time back. When we started developing this Alexa for business, now some of the office related things and all are already built-in skills in Alexa. You don't have to worry about that. You can directly configure it and can be used. The blueprints also available. Morning Jeff was mentioning about the blueprints. There are, without any coding itself, you can directly take some of the blueprints available, and most of these office related tasks like Outlook, booking, all those things can be taken care of by the Alexa, conference room calling, all those things. When we start building, these are all in the instruction state. So we've gone ahead and directly access the Outlook APIs and all and built this. But still there is a lot of intelligence behind what Alexa for business directly not giving is going and looking at the other part of the things, right? Here we are giving a complete solution. So that's what we are doing here. Any questions on this? Anybody have any quick questions? So Alexa in workplace, yeah. See, for the first cut, we have gone with the default app, but there are plans to have these kind of differences as well. First time it will be configured, but based upon your usage, right? It will identify based upon the time of the day and your route preferences, all those things. It can identify which service to call out if you have multiple options. All right. So Alexa in workplace. So Alexa in workplace can be in 3 different areas. One is your personal device itself. It can be your personal device in home and desk, and shared devices in conference rooms, receptions, private. There it can be a shared device where you can have your private skills for the organization can be hosted, and the conference rooms have its own speakerphone control room in systems as well. And how to implement? As I was mentioning, now we have the Alexa for business and A4B blueprints without any coding, just by configuring things you can start this kickstarter, and you can have custom skills and third-party skills to get this done. Let's look some of the common use cases. These are the use cases which we come across practically from talking to customers or looking at the market and during different conversations. These are the typical use cases we found for an enterprise and a consumer. Calendar access we talked about, conference room we talked about. Another important feature is voice dashboard. Why not marketing division have CRM applications, ERP, and sales have a voice dashboard? Currently we are building this one, voice dashboard, where dynamic dashboard can be generated by using voice commands and get help for issues like ticket creation, all those things. And if you look at the consumer side, asking questions for those are the regular things, and typical vertical based solutions like banking operations. somebody was referring the morning that as well, like making sure your voice level security and ensuring that your information is given only to you, and smart homes and voice commerce. These are all touched up by different speakers. So these are all different use cases, but these are the common use cases I saw. And one more thing I want to tell, there is a small context going on where you can write down the best use cases using Alexa and submit it in the booth. You will get good prices. That's all I have. Thank you. And thanks organizers for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Vinu, for that insight into how Alexa works for the enterprise. Can I have on stage Jeff Blankenberg to hand out a small token of our appreciation?